Hey guys, tonight we're bringing you some disturbing news on Couchside, and before we get into it, I want to give you the backstory. In December of 2015, the Paris Climate Accord agreement was agreed to by 190 plus countries in the world, with the goal being to keep the increase in temperature below 2 degrees Celsius over pre-industrial levels, and to maintain that through 2020, and by 2050 to have virtually no net carbon emissions. So it was a pretty lofty goal, but one that the world basically felt was needed as rising sea levels would do a lot of damage, particularly to all the island countries in the world. And now we're bringing you news that President Donald Trump has decided to withdraw from the Paris Climate Accord. He decided that today.
In order to fulfill my solemn duty to protect America and its citizens, the United States will withdraw from the Paris Climate Accord.
And in fact, I remember Gerald during his speech when he was revealing that decision, it's almost like he was trying to use it as leverage. And that's the part that gets me even more. It's like, he said we're withdrawing, and then he said something about how, we'll start negotiations to come back into it or do some other deal. And I don't think he realizes that, like, you're playing with fire here. Like, this is not something you play around with.
Yeah. I mean, virtually, essentially, he gave the middle finger to the world, pretty much. It was like, hey, screw you. I'm going to do what I want. And that's not the way to go about things. And what really irritated me, because, throughout what he was saying, he was like, oh, we're doing this for financial reasons. It's tearing down our economy. Yeah, you're trying to push a healthcare bill and trying to bolster the military budget that it already is. That's already big enough. So it's like, what's really killing the economy, because I don't think the fact that this climate change agreement is anywhere near, shape or form, going to kill off the economy. If anything, it's going to, what you're saying is, oh, you won't be able to breathe in 50 years, but hey, we can nuke North Korea.
Well, the thing is, like, the day before this, we knew yesterday that he was going to make an announcement on this, and I pretty much already figured he was going to withdraw, but at the time, you had about 20 different corporations pleading with the administration to not withdraw from the agreement. I don't remember all of the names of the corporations. I know Starbucks was one of them. But it's not good for business because I think about, like you're saying, over the long term, what's it going to do? Even if it helps business tomorrow, it's not going to be helping it if 20 or 50 years down the road, the climate's much worse and people have worse health and all that. I also think about, even before he withdrew from this climate accord, they were developing stories about how he was laxing regulations for coal. You're going to have the coal companies start dumping their waste into the waterways, and like that didn't get that much coverage, but it's really important too. And it's just, I don't like the theme and direction we're going in, and even more so, I don't like that Trump is, again, trying to like use these power plays with other countries when he doesn't realize that that's not the way the world works. No. You can't just tour the world saying, oh, we're the United States, everyone's going to bow down to us and pay us money for protecting you. That's not how this works. They're going to tell you to get out of there.
I mean, here's the thing, and this is the problem with, no offense to any of our older viewers, a lot of people over the age of 65. They don't think in the long term because the long term isn't real to them. Let's be honest here. You and me, you're what, 26? You turn 26 next month?
Yeah.
I turn 28 in about 2 weeks. The long term is our life. We still have about 40, maybe 50, 60, 70 years. Well, not 70. If we live to 70, that's weird. Never mind that. We have about 40 to 50 years left on this planet. That culminates most of the 21st century, and with a lot of scientists believe that sea level risings will be a big issue in the later part of the 21st century. So that affects our future children. That affects our grandchildren. People we will know and love. This is the world we're leaving for them, essentially. Now, when you think about sea level rise, not only are the islands affected, and yes, that is sad, but even more importantly, coastal cities. We live in Baltimore. Baltimore's right on the ocean. New York is on the ocean. New York is one of the cities that can very well suffer one of the most. London, Paris, you name it. There are so many coastal cities that are at a threat. And it's not just, sea levels. I mean, again, you have ozone emissions. You have the air that we breathe. And you literally, by getting out of this, is saying, we as Americans don't care. The rest of the world is looking at us like these stupid Americans. They don't care because of Trump. But I did find it cool. I was actually reading an article while I was waiting for you guys to get here. And it was talking about the French president. He actually came out and said, hey, all you scientists, come on over. If your president doesn't want to support climate change, initiatives, and stuff like that, bring your ideas, bring your innovation here to France. And that's cool because that shows that there are still people that do care about the world.
I also heard speculation that what Donald Trump is really doing here, and again, I don't know if this is true or not, but there's some people saying that this whole thing where he wants to just get out of the climate accord and deny climate change is kind of like an appeal to his base.
Right.
And at this point, it looks like his base is just about all he has left that's supporting him. If you look at his approval numbers, so. But the thing is, if you look around the world, the coastal cities, like you were saying, all you got to do is look at the action they're taking into their own hands to know this is a real problem.
Okay.
Venice is already investing in technology where they can combat the rising tide. Miami is pretty much doing the same thing, building higher walls near the sea. So, the coastal cities are trying to take this into their own hands, and you look at the polar ice caps melting. It's pretty obvious to the common person, I think, that the sea levels are rising, that climate change is a real thing. But you have those deniers out there, and Trump, is he a real climate change denier, or is he just looking to make a power play? It's up to debate, but either way, the news today was not encouraging at all.
No, it definitely wasn't. And I'm watching this at work, and I'm seeing this flash across the screen, and I couldn't help but shake my head because, again, you expected this, but that doesn't make it any better. It's you knew it was coming. If you've been following the news for the last few weeks, he's been hyping this up as some big big news is coming soon. We knew it was coming. It's no surprise. It's just unfortunate that unsurprising news will eventually probably screw the rest of the world because we are one of the highest emission countries. We have some of the highest emissions in the world, and that's a problem.
Well, we are in a way, but I think it's also, you look at China. China has smog days. I mean, when you're calling off school for smog days, your environment's pretty crappy. India is another one of those areas, highly industrialized and not doing much to combat the pollution from it. But this isn't a problem that can be solved by the United States on our own, but you can't be backing out of agreements, because when people see a major country like the United States back out of that kind of agreement, that really reduces the legitimacy of the agreement. And now we can't count on those other countries to hold up their end of the bargain when they see a major player leaving.
Exactly. So, like I said, I don't know what's going to happen. Hopefully, by some miracle, the whole world can just get out there, specifically this country, and just fix this climate issue. This is a real issue. This is something that's going to affect us, again, like I said, for the next century, even longer. But at least in the impact that's going to hit us, that's going to happen in our lifetime. We're going to be impacted.
Well, yeah, and realistically, for our lives, this may not be something that affects us till we're older, and maybe there's less sushi for us to enjoy, and that we can't travel to Miami or an island anymore.
It's kind of depressing.
But once we start looking at our grandkids, great grandkids, the stakes are going to be even much higher for them at that point.
Well, because here's the thing: when the sea levels rise and the cities go away, who's going to become the power? Who's going to become the power? If you start destroying, if cities that, again, some of the most powerful cities, D.C., London, New York, some of the most powerful cities in the world, if they're the ones underwater, what's going to happen to the world? What's going to happen to the global governments? What's going to happen to the way that our society is ran if these cities are underwater? That's my question, but, hopefully I don't have to see that.
Yeah, hopefully we never have to find out, and hopefully the people around the world can understand that our presidents come and go every 4 to 8 years.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll hold out hope for us, but
wait for us.
But it's definitely a dark day for United States history and world history, I would say. But we'll just have to see how things play out from here.